standard, which is 5 inches below the knee bone.
Okay.
This one is very short,
Okay.
only because it had moved up.
So you have more off of that leg than the other
Right.
leg.
So I'll never be
Even.
even with the prosthetics. It's funny because the prosthetics are supposed to be the same length, and I don't think they are, but they keep telling me they are. Not to me, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your first one was in 2005, and then your other one was in 2010. And what was the cause?
Peripheral vascular disease,
Okay.
PVD.
Yep. We've learned about that.
And what was the cause of that? We don't know.
Okay.
Could have been hereditary. Yes, I smoked. So
Did you have symptoms? Like, was your leg feeling weird, or?
I've always had, well, let's put it this way. My grandmother, years ago, used to call it phlebitis,
Okay.
and they'd wrap it up and she would continue. But if it moved, that was the big problem. That was the problem with me. Do you want this to move to your lung, your brain?
Oh, so your grandmother had...
My grandmother had it.
Okay.
My mother always had pains in her legs, but
Never.
Never...
now the other thing they say is after so many surgeries, because I had to have this one done 2 times, the inside was infected at that point and was becoming gangrenous, so they had to go back and go up a little bit farther.
Okay.
That's how it got even shorter.
Oh, okay.
This one took a lot more nursing. I was injecting my own antibiotics. I was, doing just about everything I had to do
To prevent infection?
to prevent it from coming back.
Yeah.
So, I'm very cautious with that.
Yeah.
Now, of course, they told me that since I have this, gently treat your left leg. Because all the physical therapy and stuff, you're really pounding the left leg. That's why they said 3 to 5 years you might have, and it was right within there.
Like the second one.
Yeah.
She said, can you please explain a little bit about her process of obtaining them? So,
The
how soon
prosthetics?
of getting the prosthetics? Yeah, like how after surgery, how long
They
after?
come in, there's usually a prosthetist that's involved with the surgeon, and they report to them, they've done an amputation, would you like to go? And then they pick a company that's local or whatever, and they come in right after surgery.
Right after to fit,
Yeah.
you get fitted?
No,
Okay.
they come in to visit, they check you, what length and everything. I had a wonderful guy in Florida, he was the first one, and of course he realized the problem he was dealing with when he saw how short it was. The first time I was measured, they take you to the office, or I went to the office because I was driving with my left foot. They take a casting of the residual, and that's what they make. I'll show you.
Yeah, can you show us? That's awesome.
Of course, these are dirty because I cook in them.
Oh, no
all right,
problem.
yeah.
I mean, this is spaghetti. This is this is pain in the ass. This is the liner
Okay.
that fits into here.
Okay. And it just slips in? Does it click in or anything? Or it just slips
If
in?
you have the stud, it does. The first ones I had clicked in.
Okay.
They were very secure, but it always felt like you were walking on a stilt. So when they offered me the suction, I went and said, okay, let me go back. This
So they suction in?
one of the pair I had a pump on it, which
Okay.
is what this is, and they would suck the air out to make it
Okay.
okay?
And is that the same one? Do you have like the same type on each?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't do the pin on one side and the other. There's just no way you'd have any
Yeah.
equilibrium. Let me show you. This is the
Yeah.
short one.
Okay.
Oh, I did this in the class, too, I remember.
Yeah, thank you so
I
much.
know,
It's
this is wonderful.
It is.
Now look how this leg used to be quite muscular. I had
Yeah.
legs like Laura, but
Yeah.
see as the deterioration occurs. And of course this is the older one.
Wow.
See the irritation. And
Yeah. Does it hurt in those legs?
let's put it this way. You get a lot of abrasions because of the summertime's worse because you sweat. And you
Yeah.
get a lot of friction on, so you get like open wounds like where this bone sticks out or down here. And you have to be careful that you don't want an infection again.
Right. And you have to make sure that the skin doesn't break down under there.
Right, and unfortunately, you can't go anywhere without them. So
Right.
you're stuck. I mean, do I put them on 65 times a day? No, I put them on in the morning and there until I go to bed.
Right.
Because they tell you not to sleep.
Now that scar, is that
Now, that was femoral bypass,
okay?
which is what they did before the amputation. Unfortunately, that's what broke down. You know, the transplantation of the vein or artery, I don't remember what it was.
Right.
So when that broke down is when the amputation had to be done.
Okay.
So how are you feeling, I guess, when you first found out? I can imagine it was like,
First thing, I was in the hospital bed coming out of recovery. And I remember Amy coming in. And you have to remember, I was just out of like 4 or 5 hour surgery, so I was really kind of... And I went to get up, and I said, why is there a hole in the bed?
Oh.
So my brain processed, there's no leg there.
did you feel like your leg was still there? They call it like phantom limb.
I still have that.
So you still feel like you...
I will have itches that will wake me up at night to
Wow.
scratch my ankle.
Yeah.
It's because the brain doesn't turn on.
Right.
Right. You're just now missing that. And can you, like, what do you do? Like, this might be like a weird question, but like, would you itch your knee? Like,
Sometimes there's
like,
a
does it make-
parallel, there's a parallel feeling,
yeah.
but you're really not getting to the itch.
Right. Oh, that's...
Now, they
That's
have
frustrating, I can
Yeah.
A
imagine.
friend of mine, well, a friend from my group down there, he used mirror therapy.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That for pain, he would mirror to the other side. That his brain was trying to be tricked that it was on the good leg. He had only one,
Okay.
but he had above the knee, so
Okay.
his pain level was from up here throughout. So he
Okay.
would use the mirror in between, where the mirror would look at this leg, the good leg,
Right.
and try to emulate that over to this.
Right.
And that's fooling the brain.
Did you ever use mirror therapy? No. Did you see an occupational therapist or
Yes.
a physical therapist? All the whole
The
team.
occupational, honestly, I've had strength in my hands when they would test me, and you know, yeah, I went and put the buttons on and this and that. Did all that. Had no problems because my brain was not interfered with,
Right.
and my upper body was not interfered.
Right.
So anything I can do, I keep doing.
Right.
Like driving was a big problem because when I had just the one, I could drive with my left foot. And of course, I was at that point walking with just a cane.
Okay.
So let me show you the difference between the two so you understand what I'm talking about.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. I remember spilling something one time that it looked like I wet myself
Oh,
because
no.
it spilled out of my lap. All the embarrassing things that can happen.
Yeah.
So when at first you got the surgery, was it hard for you to like emotionally deal with it?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure.
Oh yeah, you would cry yourself to sleep at night.
Yeah. You said the first one you felt a little
I
like,
recuperated because I was forcing myself to. I'll get back to normal. I'll get back. I was only, and I got to the point of walking with a cane. So, you know, I could go up. In fact, they filmed me walking up the steps and down the steps and in the hallway. And
Right.
So all of that.
yeah, that's gotta feel like uneven. I feel like.
That's why I do have a lot of, because my center of gravity is never on.
Yeah.
Even when I stand up with both of them on,
Right.
I'm not centered. Now, here's exactly what I was talking about, the abrasion. See, now that'll
And
crack and split open.
I imagine it takes a while to heal.
And that's why, you know, they tell you not to cover it. Well, what do I do now?
Yeah.
I don't have an in-home person. I do everything myself, which
Right.
of course amazes most. Oh, here's the Walmart spilled.
Do you know what that's made out of?
This is silicone.
Okay. And then the leg part of it, is it just is it plast? What? No, it's
Yeah, pull it all the way
Here.
down. Pull the outside all the way down.
so it's like
This is padded
yeah, this is
to be a shape of a cat.
so it kind of looks
Okay.
more
Yeah.
normalized. This doesn't feel very comfortable.
I know.
There's not even really any like. It's
Cushioning?
just. It's yeah. There's no cushioning in it. It's
This
just
is the only cushioning, but this is
So-
what causes the abrasions.
right.
So you're
Yeah.
between a rock and a hard place.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Okay. Yeah.
And it goes in because that's what they cast it, and that's what they make this part out of.
Okay.
Do you remember how long you were in the hospital afterwards?
Too long. I mean, I was there. I can't remember how many Thanksgivings I missed, or Christmas,
Wow.
New Year's. That was very depressing.
Yeah.
I mean, even though I didn't have my kids down there, my mother and my brother and my sister-in-law were there, and my niece and nephew were there. Having
That's gotta be
Thanksgiving
hard.
dinner that they serve in the hospital or the rehab,
Not the same, huh?
it doesn't taste good.
Yeah.
That was the other thing. I was not eating,
Yeah.
and that was part of the depression. I did go to the psychiatrist, but they had to start giving me protein powder on my food because I was
Okay.
losing weight so fast. Because hospital food ain't good. I don't
Yeah,
care.
it's
I mean,
not.
even though they give you this BS about, but you can order what you want. But what comes is not what I
It's never
want.
good.
Doesn't taste right. Do you need any more of that? Yeah, I've had both of the legs done with that.
The what is it called?
Femoral, which is the main, F-E-M-O-R-A-L, femoral artery, which is the main that comes off your, because this scar goes all the way up to my groin,
Okay.
and that's the main one that goes and feeds the legs.
Okay. So they tried that first.
Okay.
And as they said, 3 to 5 years, and sure enough, within that period of time,
Did you feel similar feelings down like on the other leg before? Were you feeling like that one was a kind of worsening? The good leg, the leg that you still have.
no, you know this, how do you say it? The pain was obvious that it was deteriorating. That's really what happens. And of course and I don't know whether it was a doctor's suggestion, but as they say to you, that was with the one when I was fine. Second one, they kept saying, don't let that move up your leg. Because that's when the brain can be affected. And so I said, okay. And I sat in the hospital, the rehab. No, it was the hospital. Whatever. It was still in a bed in a facility.
Yeah.
And that was a long time. That might have been 2 months.
Yeah.
2 months, easy.
And were you getting occupational physical therapy all there every
Now,
day?
the occupational therapist was the only way you could get to go take a shower.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they helped you with that. They help you with dressing and different techniques. to
Well, the
use?
first, when you arrive at the rehab, that's the first thing they do. Can you dress yourself? I don't know. You know,
You never. Yeah.
why would I ask myself to
Yeah.
dress
Yeah.
myself?
Right.
But I figured it out. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to put your pants on when you have just a liner on. You get it up over, and then you got to pull them. It's a whole process. But
Yeah.
once you do it, they taught me a tremendous amount in the place I went to.
Okay.
How to make a bed, how to reach the stove, how to, manipulate the
Things
cabinet.
that we take for granted.
It's called home use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Daily living habits.
Yep.
Yep.
Activities of daily living. That's what.
Yep. That's what our school's all about.
So let me see.
And then, of course, I'm hard-headed enough to say, I can do that.
Right.
And I'll fall.
Yeah.
Which the older I'm getting, the falling is not good. Because I'm sure that a hip or a shoulder are going to be injured somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. How
You
was
think-
sorry?
Nope, ask.
How was the learning process for putting on the prosthetics? Did that come easy or was it difficult?
Yeah, my prosthetist, the first one I had, was an amputee himself.
Oh wow.
So he knew the ins and outs of how to learn and how to do. But you can tell if it's fit right or not. Like right now, the actual shell, the casting was done. Oh, that was one thing. First cast I had done was the plaster mold that they did over your leg. I then had the computerized measuring, which the camera rolls around, does that. Which one worked better? You got me. I mean, they still wear out, they still stretch, they still feel uncomfortable no matter what you do.
Right.
So are these the same ones that you've had them for the entire time?
No,
No.
this is my. This one, it's my third. This one, it's my.
Wow. So how often is that? Do you
Between the
That's right.
3 and 5 year. The first
Okay.
one lasted, and what they do is they build you another liner.
Okay.
Just this top part, because the rest of it, which is piping, from here up, is that piece of pipe, and then it goes into an artificial foot. The
Right.
foot, you have no ankle, so you can't go like this, and you can't do anything on your toe.
Right.
You can't rock, so to speak.
Right.
So, because this is all just pole.
Have you
Okay.
ever thought, like, would you ever want a different kind? Maybe one that moves
I've
differently,
used
or
differently. So far, this one is
Works
the
the
least offensive. It's still not the best.
Right.
Now, I know you've seen the girl on Dancing with the Stars.
Yes.
Yeah. She probably had $400,000 to spend.
That's
Right.
I imagine they're really expensive
$40,000 each.
for
wow.
each of those.
That is amazing to
That-
me.
it-
That
Now, seriously, I was on Medicare, so
yeah.
a percentage of it was picked up.
Wow.
But you still have bills late. I still get bills from the Cleveland Clinic, and
Right.
how many years I'm up here already.
Yeah.
But I had excellent therapists. I really did.
Good. That's good to hear.
The occupational one knew that it was frustrating to make me do things that I could already do, so she kind of excused me. from it.
Okay.
'Cause why repeat putting the ring on here and on here?
Right.
Yeah, it
When
just got
that's
to the
not
point. Okay, let's get in the shower.
Yeah. Something useful, please.
Well, you know-
something meaningful.
Right.
And not only that, you feel so grungy,
Yeah.
laying around and laying around. Now, of course, the first thing when I had the one leg, I could get up and get in the wheelchair to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
The second one, I couldn't get up, so you had to learn how to transfer
Yep.
from your arms. Now, that was the other exercise that I found, didn't understand at the time, but do now, because you need to build the rest of your body. They used to
Rely
have
on your
this
upper
little
body.
bench that had hands, and you'd have to pick yourself up off the weight and move.
Yeah.
Now, going into the shower, which hospitals just have stall showers, they have a plastic wheelchair.
Oh,
They can
okay.
push you all the way in. And, hand me the rag. I still know how to wash myself.
Right.
Now, I'm sure there are people that don't.
Right.
It's something that can happen to elderly people through diabetics. And so they don't have the ability upside.
Right.
And how is your home, like, is it accommodated to the wheelchair? It's
No, it's a regular
a
apartment
regular apartment. And your bathtub, like, do you use
I
the
have
shower?
a
Do you-
seat.
Okay.
that I still get up and get on. The one that I had down at my mother's, I could transfer outside of the tub and slide into the tub. I now just have the little seat, so I can stand up, sit down, take my legs off, take a shower.
Okay.
So
Okay.
What do you find, I guess, the most challenging? Is there things, like, every day that you feel like you're challenged by?
yeah, I'd like to be able to walk and go up and down stairs a lot more readily than I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about, like, cooking and cleaning? Do you...
Cooking, well, cleaning, I'll tell you, it's funny. I was just looking at the robot here.
The robot vacuum?
Yeah.
Mhm.
The first vacuum I got up here was lightweight and ran cordless, so you could go so far, plug the battery back in, and come back 2 hours later and do a little bit more.
Right.
Then we replaced it with a regular one with a wire. Well, try to vacuum with this long wire to the thing, and you're going this way
Right.
and this way, and now you got the wire caught up in the wheelchair. That's why I was looking at this thing over
It
here.
might be a good investment.
That's why I was looking.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And don't forget, your weight doing things this level is much different
Oh,
than when you're in
absolutely.
a vertical.
Yeah. And a lot of vacuums are taller, so you
It's
can't
an
just
extended stick.
right.
She wants to know about how you drive. So you have all hand
Hand
controls. So how's that?
You have to take lessons. You have to take a driver's test.
Okay. So you have to get you have to redo it.
Right.
Okay.
Now, you have the options at that time in Florida. I don't know about up here. Having the permanent handicap or the sticker. I chose the sticker. I didn't want it behind me with this little wheelchair.
And do you feel like you've just gotten used to the driving? Like you don't even think
You
about
have
it?
to. You have to. I don't remember how many hours it was. 40 hours you had to take.
Kind of like a permit and a driver's test all over again.
Right.
Yeah.
And that I wanted done fast because I was taking care of my mother and I used to have to drive her. So here I am incapacitated, depending
Right.
on her. And her eyesight and everything were deteriorating. So to get in the car with her was, let me get my driver's license.
I bet.
I'm sure it was really emotionally hard just being not able to take care of yourself or
That's the
people
thing.
around
I'm
you.
very, like, people in my apartment over here say, do you ever give in? I mean, they've offered to carry my groceries in. They've offered to take my trash out. If I can still do it, let me do it.
Right.
You know, and they'll say, but we can, I say, when I need help, I will ask.
Yeah.
I will get to that point because I'm getting older. I mean, I have arthritis very bad also. So
Yeah.
those are the limitations, or as they call the grace of olding,
Yeah.
of aging.
She wants to know if you could give like an OT, an occupational therapist, like I guess guidance or any suggestions. What would you want them to do?
Physical or occupational?
Occupational.
Occupational, when the patient or your client can do it, have them repeat it till they feel comfortable with it, and then please stop making me put the rings on the post. Stop
Yeah.
making
Right.
me do this puzzle. Stop making me do this. Now, I come from the speech therapy side, so there were people in the rehab that were in the same gym as me, and they were doing the verbal because their brains were damaged.
Right.
So I remember sitting next to them and the questions they were asking. I said, I used to ask this when I was doing, speech therapy. So it sort of overlaps.
Yeah, all the therapies kind of work together.
And if you push them all together, in most rehabs they have the physical, the occupational, and the speech therapist. So
Yeah. Is there anything else you would like to add? Any words of advice for our class?
words of advice: continue your learning, and hopefully they'll keep coming out with new, innovative. I mean, now I'm looking at, oh gosh, can they grow me a leg on the printers that they have now?
Right. The 3D.
Right. And they can put an ankle in there so I can. Now, they did come out with one foot since I've been going. A gentleman friend of mine had it, where they put almost like a ball and socket joint to give you ankle movement.
Oh,
which
wow.
helps you on any kind of angle. You extend your leg this way or this way. So that was the big improvement I've seen. I don't have it. Unfortunately, being on Medicare, you have another $40,000. You don't know what to do with. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, they wanted me to say thank you so
Oh,
much.
please, it's my pleasure.
And
Anytime.
It's great
Yeah,
for
we
us
really
to learn.
appreciate
We've learned a
this.
lot, and
Well, you're learning from someone like I did, sitting in that position. I mean,
this is how we learn: is seeing
Right.
and talking about how things.
Well,
have
that's
made
why
you feel.
I always volunteer. Like, I will offer if you want me to talk to your class. I don't have a problem with
Yeah.
that.
That is really
That's
nice
awesome.
of you,
Thank
and I'm
you.
sure
And I'm
that
sure
would be much appreciated.
They would love
Yeah.
that. Because it's something that we don't necessarily get to see hands-on all the time.
Well,
until we're
the
in
other
the
thing
field.
is that, for example, when the girls tried to help me, I had to tell them what they had to do to help me. So if you're aware of that, share it.
Yes, absolutely.
Pulling someone up from this way, pulling up with your hands this way is much more difficult than getting behind me, under my shoulder, pushing me up, get my center of gravity, and then I usually say to people who have helped me up, I have to get up and over onto the prosthetic. I can't
You
just
can't keep them extended in.
right.
Right. Do you think that you were adequately taught how to do
Oh,
things?
the
They
first rehab I went to was Health South, and they're national. They were excellent.
Okay.
They were very in fact, the physical therapist I had was the leader in the
Okay.
area I was in. And she knew a tremendous, she could look at you walk, or they computerize you now when they watch you walk by the computer and where you're putting your weight on you, because you can't feel that.
Yeah.
Where is my weight? I have an artificial foot, I have an artificial leg.
Did you feel really off balance?
Very off balance, and my fear of falling comes into play. And of course, they teach you how to get up with the prosthetics. That's why I say the one I went to was excellent. I've met people in those support groups who had nothing. Now the first time in the gym, I had a Swedish physical therapist. I'll never forget her. She was tough. But she also got to know me that I will do this. And of course, the first time I went around the gym, to exercise after exercise to keep the muscles moving. That's why the deterioration occurs.
Right.
But I walked around the gym when there was on the walker using just a prosthetic, having no leg on the other side. So I used to balance on one. However, two, you can't do that.
Okay.
It takes a long time to adjust to the two. And it's a whole different learning process.
And you walk with a walker, right? And do you prefer that over the wheelchair, or do you just?
Well, what happens is I can overdo the walker. Used to just do the walker and not the wheelchair, but I found that I was getting much too tired. And saying to myself, do you want to take the chance of falling, or are you better off sitting down and figuring out? And that's another thing, learning how to use a wheelchair.
Yeah.
People don't seem to go back that far to understand that you have to know how to turn.
Right.
You have to know how to pick yourself up.
Right.
Yeah.
And did they teach you that in the rehab? So when you went home, I'm sure you were scared, but you felt like they had given you the tools that you needed.
They did, and they actually had someone come to the home
Okay.
and investigate my environment. Like my mother had to get rid of throw rugs and.
Was that the occupational therapist that did that, or was it
I
somebody
don't
else?
whether she was she was something living, daily living specialist. Or something.
Okay.
It was probably an OT.
Yeah.
It sounds like.
Yeah, because
something
I
that you
had
would
to
do.
learn to go up the stairs, and then she walked my mother's. She only had one level too, but points that I should be cautious of. Like my mother had an island that had a leg on it. She said you can get hung up there, either with the walker or the wheelchair. So that's an area of concern. So you learn to go around it.
Right.
And it's stuff you wouldn't naturally think of until you're in that situation.
Well, it's the same thing in the wheelchair. How do you
Right.
get up a step that's only this high?
Yeah.
You figure that out real fast if you want to be independent, which is what I wanted. But there's no way you can get up over that unless you learn how to do it.
Yeah.
And we just kind of take it for granted because we just don't even have to
Right.
You
think
don't
about
even
it.
think about it. That's
We
why I
do it
say
automatically.
get to know your client. And you'll know their capacity, their willingness, their desire, their goals, everything.
Yes.
And they do have the psychologist and the physical therapist do that with you a lot. Dressing yourself was not a problem for me with one. Two, you can stand up and pull your pants up
Yeah.
until you put the prosthetic on. That's what the girls are hysterical. Why can't you just get up and get dressed and get out the door? In order to put my legs on, I have to take my pants off, I have to take this off, and then I have to put the bottom on, then put the leg on, then pull the pants down. So it's not like
process.
jumping your pants
Right.
and
It takes a little longer.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Do you have any other questions, or you good?
I'm good. Well, that was
as
wonderful.
I said, if you want me to participate in one of your classes, explain to them I've had that
That
experience.
was
That
that's
would be
amazing.
amazing. So
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you. I will let them know. Awesome.
Luke.
Let's eat some turkey.
I think that they get